What's up, Jets fans? Welcome to the latest edition of Jets Latest, where you get the latest on the Jets, Jets. I'm your host, the spitting statistician, Dane Martinez, and today I really want to start by talking about what I think is going to be a huge difference from last year. We've talked about it in pieces, but honestly, it is the Jets' run game, which last year was literally second worst in the NFL in terms of yards gained as a team via the run. I've been talking about the additive that Justin Fields can be in the run game as a dual threat quarterback. You know how I keep on talking about his 1,000-yard season, his 100-yard games, what he's able to do as a dual threat quarterback. I talk about Braylon Allen playing that knuckles role. If you look at that Detroit offense or the kind of thunder and lightnings that we've seen before, his propensity to be successful as a third down back, as a goal line back, and Breece Hall, who a lot of people are down on, but I believe has been one of the better receiving backs in the NFL over the last couple of years, and quite frankly, I think is a strong running back himself, despite some of the shade he has been getting. So you put that all together, and you've got a pretty good run game, and you know what? I'm not the only one talking about this. Listen to what Terron Armstead, who was a 12-year veteran in the NFL on the offensive line, he was on Good Morning Football the other day. Listen to what he said about this Jets run game. He goes, I think it's a response year from Breece Hall. I think this year he takes off and is a top 5 running back in the league. With Justin Fields over there as well, you get a lot more of that dynamic added element. You have to worry about the QB with a lot of RPOs like with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Braylon Allen in the short yardage game, the goal line game, he's a bruiser. Big, powerful back. He's 6'1", 240. I really think this 1-2 punch is the top of the league. And I don't know about just 1-2 punch. I think it's going to be a 1-2-3 punch with Hall, Allen, and of course, Justin Fields. But also, I don't think we realize how important a run game is in the NFL. These days, everybody's talking about a passing league. You know, it's a throwing league. Everyone's worried about the wide receivers. But look at the top rushing teams last year. The Ravens, 3,164 yards. They went to the playoffs, and they have a dual threat quarterback. Number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles, over 3,000 yards. They won the Super Bowl, and they have a dual threat quarterback. Number 3 was Washington, just over 2,600 yards. They went to the playoffs. They have a dual threat quarterback. And then you see the Jets all the way, like I said, at number 31 in the league, literally like half of the output of the Baltimore Ravens. I think, however, now, dual threat quarterback, like I have been saying, this improved offensive line to be sure, and I think they're going to deploy Hall and Allen, like I've been saying, kind of like Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery over in Detroit, the Sonic and Knuckles, where Hall is going to be a receiving back. Hall is going to be in between the 20s. And then when we need him in short yardage situations and in goal line situations, Braylon Allen, I think, will continue to deliver. So really, if we can go from the 31st ranked rushing offense in the NFL to a top 5, a top 10 rushing offense, I think that changes the fortunes of the Jets dramatically. And we have all the elements to do it. Another thing I want to talk about here on Jets Latest today, as I've been telling you, I think we nailed the draft. If you've been with us through Jets Latest, through the draft, you know I personally nailed the draft, saying we were going to get Membu in the first round and saying we were going to get LSU tight end Mason Taylor in the second round. And now, as we go to, training camp starts in a few weeks, Mason Taylor is actually the only Jet rookie that is still unsigned. I've had other people here ask me, is this a problem? What are we waiting for? And I think I got to the bottom of it. Check this out. And as I said here in the kind of graphics, it is because he is a second rounder. There's some interesting things going on with second round picks in this year's NFL draft. For those of you who don't know, right, rookie draft picks are pretty much like slotted these days since the CBA about 10 or 15 years ago. There's very little wiggle room, right? Like if you're the number 7 pick, you're probably going to fall in a certain range. If you're the number 17 pick, if you're the number 23 pick, and on and on and on it goes, right? So the money is not the issue, right? And rookies usually get a 4-year deal, maybe an option for a 5th. But here's what happened, okay? If you look, only 34 unsigned players so far from the entire draft in the NFL this year. 30 of them, though, are second rounders. Here's what happened. Jaden Higgins, who went to the Houston Texans, 34 overall, got his deal fully guaranteed. And that is something new for a second round pick. So the money is going to be the same, but Higgins got his fully guaranteed. And then the next day, the Cleveland Browns had their pick number 33 overall, Carson Schlesinger. He also got his contract fully guaranteed. guaranteed. So that has inspired some second-year picks this year to kind of hold out and say, hey, I know the money that it's going to be there, but I want my contract fully guaranteed. And that includes Mason Taylor. Remember, Mason Taylor went 42 overall. And a lot of these second rounders are kind of looking to see like how far down the second round these people can kind of, in essence, parlay getting their rookie deals fully guaranteed. And a linchpin here is going to be Tyler Shuck, who is the 40th overall pick taken by New Orleans. And the thing is, he's probably going to might be their starting quarterback this year. Okay, remember Derek Carr retired. They've only got some other guys like Rattler on the roster, and so Mason Taylor is likely looking to see if Tyler Shuck at number 40 overall gets his deal fully guaranteed, because that may create even more of a narrative, even more of an argument for Mason Taylor to get his 4-year deal fully guaranteed. But he is the only Jet still unsigned, and that may be part of the reason why. I think that is something to watch. Ultimately, they're going to get a deal done. Mason Taylor is not going to miss the starting training camp. And remember, he was at OTAs. He was at rookie minicamp. He was at a lot of these sessions, right? But when you think about why he is not signed, that is probably the reason why. If you look at all those second rounders, they're looking to see if they can get on the trend of getting their deal fully guaranteed. That is what is likely holding up the deal with the Jets and Mason Taylor, although I do not think it is going to be an issue, and he will certainly be there for training camp. Quite frankly, I hope he gets that guaranteed money, because he is going to be a big part, in my opinion, of the Jets in a important way, especially with Justin Fields as the quarterback. You know about Justin Fields throwing to the tight end, right? I think Taylor's going to be a good player for us for years to come. And he is part of what I have been saying is the youth movement here with the Jets under Darren Muji, under Aaron Glenn, right? We're kicking everybody to the curb that was, over 30 years old. We're creating competition. We're also creating short, flexible deals for the cap space. And this has been reinforced because the Jets actually are the second youngest roster in the entire NFL. If you look at their average age, 25.5 years old is second youngest in the NFL, second only to the Green Bay Packers. There you see the Eagles, Jags, Ravens, also with young rosters. Terron Taylor is the only member of this Jets roster that is older than 30 years old. Remember, they even cast aside Morstead and Zerline in the special teams game, who were in their 30s. The young competition is even kicker and punter, right? Josh Reynolds as a wideout at age 30 is pretty much one of the oldest guys we have. If you look at every position group, from Fields at quarterback, this running back room we talk about, the offensive line, which is so young, right, that we talk about. On defense, you see guys like Sherwood and Quincy at the linebacker position. Even the guys they brought in like Cisco in the secondary are in their 20s. So that youth movement is served. And I mentioned all this turnaround. Another thing with the Jets that we've talked about it, they have the most roster turnover in the entire NFL so far. Only 58% of the roster is returning, and I think that just speaks to what they are trying to do here with Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji. There's no holdovers from an old regime, from an old culture. They are getting their opportunity to plant their flag, mark themselves, and build what they want to see. They're bringing in young talent to be able to kind of buy in together, grow together, and hopefully win together. And you also know about how Aaron Glenn's talking about this culture of teaching and development. We have seen that a lot, whether it be Arian Smith, whether it be A.Z. Thomas, whether it be even Mason Taylor, who I talked about, right? So I think this has been intentional. Even the kind of flexibility it gives the Jets moving forward in the cap. If some of these guys don't work out, it's not a long deal and they can figure it out. They have some of the largest cap space for a year from now, from 2 years from now, and it's a young roster hoping to build and grow together. And one of the highlights, as I've been talking about, is going to be the run game, which is going to take a huge step forward, in my opinion, going from 31 in the NFL maybe to a top 10 team, which really is a good kind of indicator of playoff success, and having that dual threat quarterback certainly helps. So that'll do it for this episode of Jets Latest. Remember, watch these videos, like these videos, subscribe to the channel. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed. Thanks to the comments as well, okay? I like engaging with you back and forth. Remember, you could always hit me up on social media, X, @SpittinSpeeds, and I am the host of the FTN Fantasy Show over on SiriusXM channel 87, where we talk more than just the Jets, getting you ready for fantasy football. We talk all sports. FTN is a great website, giving you information, giving you tools, content to help you win your leagues, win that cash, be a better fantasy player, and sports better. And I am also the host 2 nights a week on Sports Grid, one of the preeminent betting TV channels in this country, where I host a show called In Game Live. Live betting is huge, and if you want to get down on the gravy train, tune into Sports Grid 2 nights a week, where I will take you through all the action that is happening. If we see something, we say something, trying to help you get that cash. But if you're just locked in on the Jets, Jets Latest is the place to be. I will be here all week as normal, maybe talking more about the run game, probably talking more about this new culture as we get into training camp and what should be a great 2025 season for the Jets. That'll do it for this time. We'll see you tomorrow.